Yeah, well, so we just released the fact that we hit another record low for the maximum sea ice extent this winter. And this follows on the last 2 years, which were also record low maximum sea ice extents, which is it's very unusual actually. We've never seen 3 winters in a row where we've had really low winter ice conditions. And we've never seen 3 winters in a row with very warm Arctic temperatures. And this winter is probably even warmer than it was last year, which set new records for the amount of warmth that we saw in the wintertime in the Arctic. And the problem with that is that if you have really warm winters in the Arctic, you're not going to grow very thick ice. And it looks like from estimates that we can see right now from Cryosat and also from modeling work that people have been doing that we're sort of at our lowest volume or thinnest ice that we've seen for this time of year. And that's not good news going into the melt season, because we can melt 1.5 to 2 meters of thick ice every summer, and that looks like the average of the thickness of the ice right now in the Arctic basin.
Yeah, so we've been seeing over recent decades a dramatic decline in the Arctic sea ice and rapid warming, and the conversation is now moving to what could the consequences of that be for places much further afield, like for the UK, for North America. And that's a really active area of science, and I think there's a scientific consensus now building that certainly what happens in the Arctic does not stay in the Arctic. There will be far-flung effects. But really the debate at the moment is how large this effect is and the specific processes involved. But we're pretty confident that the Arctic change is going to impact us all, but it's not quite sure exactly how. So there's been a lot of talk about whether we may experience more frequent or more intense cold winters, which seems counterintuitive in a warming world. But there's some hypotheses out there that say that the Arctic warming may change wind patterns and may increase the frequency of cold winds coming to the UK. But it's still very much open for debate, because there are other competing factors that would lead to warming, and it's a balance of multiple factors that then give you your eventual what you see in reality.
Well, as you say, there's a large amount of variability year to year in terms of the Antarctic sea ice. And there's also different things happening in different parts of the Antarctic, with different trends in the Ross Sea and the Amundsen Sea and then the Bellingshausen Sea. So it's quite a complex picture, and I think it would be premature to draw any strong conclusions from just 1 year. As you say, we've seen minimum levels this year, but if we go back just a couple of years to 2014, we saw maximum in terms of our satellite record. So there is a lot of variability, and I think it would be premature to draw any strong conclusions from 1 year. But there is a lot of research going on to try and understand what the key mechanisms are that are driving changes in sea ice in the Antarctic. And it's quite a complex process between interactions between the atmosphere, the oceans and the ice acting together on different timescales. So I think that we are going to start to see developments in our understanding. Yeah, well, certainly in the long term, all the climate models indicate a decrease in sea ice over the long term in the Antarctic. But the caveat on that is that that's with quite low confidence because of our weaknesses in our ability to model the Antarctic sea ice.